In the end, all things, even the beams, serve the Dark Tower. Did you think you would be any different? Yesterday, I finished The Wastelands, the third book in the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, and probably to nobody's surprise by now, I loved it. I mean, the Dark Tower is shaping up to be one of my favorite series of all time. There is just something about the way Stephen King has wrote this story that speaks to me. It is such an American fantasy series. Um, and the way that Stephen King goes about telling this tale is just like it just speaks to my soul. There's just something about, like just guns and fantasy, and multiple worlds and time dilation and weird post-apocalyptic monsters, and trying to figure out the mystery of the world with the characters that I can just get behind. This is the Dark Tower, and this might be a bold claim, but I'm going to stick by it. The Dark Tower is probably the most imaginative and original fantasy series I have ever read in my entire life. Not to say that it's not inspired by other great works. There's obviously some inspiration from stuff like King Arthur, Lord of the Rings, and other very important pieces of fiction throughout history. It's obviously inspired by those things. It's also inspired by stuff like, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly by Clint Eastwood, and, Westerns, obviously. But when I tell you that there is so much intrigue and so much mystery, and there's so much world building, and there's so much speculation that you as a reader can have reading this series, I'm not lying to you. I mean, this is next level stuff. This is next level mystery. This is next level world building. This is so original, because every time you think you begin to understand what's going on, Stephen King throws you another curveball. You start to see kind of generally that Midworld had some sort of post-apocalyptic event happen to it, and you're led to believe one thing, and then you see some other things, and you're like, wait, there's so much more going on here. And like how the world is built and how it's connected to others, and how there's these doors between worlds, and there's this crossover and all that stuff. It's just so, everything about this is just good. I love the world that King has created with the Dark Tower. It's incredibly provocative, and the fact that it connects to all of his other books that he's written is incredible to me, because the Dark Tower is the central. It's the axis point. It's the thing that all of his other worlds are created upon. And when you start to see those connections in these books, because you've read his other stories and you start making those connections, it makes it an even richer tale. So, yeah, The Wastelands is another absolute awesome entry. The characters are as great as ever. I think they're improving. Their camaraderie is getting better. The conflict is increasing. There's next level intensity. There are more villains being added to the roster. There's more intrigue happening. You're starting to reveal more and more of the world. And then, the action is just as good as ever. King writes action very well. It's very, it just happens. So I think even if you're not necessarily if you don't like drawn out action scenes, I think King will really work for you, because it's guns, you know what I mean? Like he'll be like, yeah, that guy's brain like split in half, and it'll just be like the scene will be over. And for me, that really works, because I can enjoy a good drawn out action scene if it's written well, but King, he's just very snappy about it. It's brutal. It's awesome. It's always like you can always look forward to an action scene from King, because he knows how to write it. The dialogue is great. I mean, there's this mix of like 1970s, 1960s New York slang and American slang, and then there's this, you got Roland, who is from another world, and he speaks kind of otherworldly and kind of older and like very Tolkien, and also like Tolkien and also at the same time Western, so he'll be like, yonder over there, or then he'll like, you know, there's just like the dialogue is awesome, the world building is awesome, the pacing in this was excellent. There wasn't a single scene in this book that I didn't enjoy, to be honest. There was intrigue around every corner. I will say the first half is not as good as the second half. The first half, you're dealing with a lot of like trying to get this one character to cross over to Midworld, which, you know, for me, I really enjoyed because I like the different world. I like the parallel world thing that King is building towards. Uh, but I will say the second half of this book is really really good. Like when they're all in Midworld and they're going on their adventure as a quartet, and you know they're trying to find the Dark Tower and they've accepted their destiny, all of them. I could really get into that. This has just a great adventure to it. I mean, this just has great tension. You know, there's this talk of destiny and what all that means, and there's just some incredibly provocative imagery that King plays with here that I can just really get behind. You know, there's this conversation about telepathy. You know, you're kind of seeing the world expand, and you're trying to figure out along with the characters what exactly happened to Midworld, because even Roland doesn't really know what happened to it because he was born into a dying world and now the world has completely moved on, as King writes it. But yeah, there's so much here to enjoy, and it starts setting up things for what might happen in the Dark Tower, and they start talking about the Dark Tower itself, and there's these hints of like what actually is the Dark Tower. You know, what does it mean? What does it hold? And all that I could just really, really get behind. I mean, this is just one of those series where all around it's great. The characters are great, dialogue is great, the action is great, the pacing is great, the world building is great, the lore, the atmosphere, the way King writes these scenes, the way he builds tension. It's all just incredible. And yeah, it's Stephen King. He's cemented as my favorite author now. This man has just continued to time and time again prove to me that he is just a next level author. He writes everything so well. You know, I've enjoyed his thrillers, I've enjoyed his horror, I've enjoyed his really big books, I've enjoyed his shorter books, and now I'm really enjoying, of course, his fantasy series, which has just, it's really standing out to me in a big way as, you know, someone who really likes what he's doing here. I like the Western aspect, I like the multiple worlds, I like the mystery, I like the intrigue, I like these characters, I like the fact that they're morally gray, and that they struggle with certain things, and that, you know, this is all you know, driven by quartet, it's driven by destiny, and you know, and I just love that in the end all things serve the Dark Tower. I love how this story is being written. I love that there's just this magnetism to it, and I can't wait to read more. I mean, this is just genuinely a truly exceptional series. So, you know, if by now I haven't convinced you to read this series, give it a go. I don't think that there's anything, at least I've read, on the market quite like this. You know, there are a lot of great fantasy series out there. There's Stormlight, there's Wheel of Time, there's you know, Last King of Osten-Ard, there's A Song of Ice and Fire, and so many more besides. And they're all incredible. But if you want something that's just different, that just the author was willing to go there with imagination, he's willing to blend just a huge amount of genres into a singular series. He's willing to blend a huge amount of different atmospheres and different settings into a singular series. Read The Dark Tower, because this is a post-apocalyptic, Western, fantasy, medieval, I don't even know what to call this. This is just awesome fantasy. And to try and contain it into a singular definition would be a waste of time. It's just awesome. And The Wastelands is going to get another 9 out of 10 for me. I think I liked it just as much as The Drawing of the Three. There were parts I liked less than The Drawing of the Three, and there were parts that I liked more than The Drawing of the Three. So, you know, I gave The Gunslinger, I think either an 8.2 or 8.5 out of 10. I gave The Drawing of Three 9 out of 10, and I'm going to give The Wastelands 9 out of 10. So we are we are cooking with gas. I mean, this series is just incredible. Just absolute banger. Can't wait to read Wizard and Glass, which is a lot of people's favorites. So I'm curious to see how I'll react to it.